Are you a creative or a creative business owner? Here are 5 ways to express yourself better as a creative. The very first way is to try journaling. Now, journaling is not one that is very common, especially in this part of the world. But believe me when I tell you that it can bring you so much peace, my Lord. Like, it can bring you so much peace just being able to write down your thoughts. And you know, fun fact, I think that's why we're always very angry in this. Like, have you ever noticed how angry people are in this side of the world? It's like, calm down, use your words. People always say, like, use your words. We are shouters, we like to shout. But really, in all seriousness, I think a lot more creatives should try journaling. Journaling simply, involves just sitting down with yourself and kind of writing out your thoughts, what kind of things are going through your head, especially as a creative, because there's so much that's going through our head, there's so many thoughts that we're passing through at every given moment that it just even helps you to write it down, to put it down on paper, and it gives you a better medium to even express those thoughts, because a lot of times it's like, oh, there's something in my brain, I can't just get it out, I don't know what it is. But by the time you begin to write out those thoughts, it may just be, maybe something that you've been thinking about and you're like, how do I do this? Maybe a passion project that you want to try, maybe just some kind of expression that you're not exactly certain. Even if it involves writing it in your language, write it in whatever language. It doesn't have to be English. Write it in whatever language that you know how to express best. And it's not always going to be easy, right? I can say that for a fact, and I know that for a fact. Sometimes you're going to struggle. Sometimes you're going to start one sentence and go off and come back and finish that sentence. We can be crazy like that. But believe me when I say it's absolutely worth it. The second way that you can creatively express yourself better is to write out 5 words that describe who you are. This is a practice or an exercise that so many people struggle with. I mean, just think about it off the top of your head. Can you just literally say right now, these are 5 words that describe my creativity? It can feel like a struggle, but I know for a fact that when you begin to think a little bit more about what kind of things describe me, am I goofy, am I quirky, am I strange? I like to describe myself as strange, not in a bad way, but kind of in a way like I like to do things in a very not normal way, and I know the normal way of doing it, but I just consciously decide I don't want to do the one that everybody knows. I want to surprise people, I think. But yeah, so begin to think about, what kind of words describe your creative expression. If you're a photographer, if you're an artist, if you're a graphic designer, even in things like software development, there are different words that you are going to be able to use to describe yourself, to say, okay, this is a certain way that I like to be able to do something, or this is a way that I know that I kind of tune into more often than not. So think of it and see if you can come up with 5 different words to describe your creativity. My third tip for you is to find some sort of expression in things like photography or, graphic design, or just like painting. You need to be able to bring it out of yourself. The term literally creative is like something that happens in your brain. And more often than not, you need to be able to take that thing from your brain and put it down on paper. And that's where the difficulty comes in, right? So if you're not able to do that directly, try things like photography. I don't mean that you have to go and buy a camera, please. I don't know how rich you are, but it doesn't mean that you have to buy a camera if you are not already a photographer, or, but just think about easy ways. You can use your phone, right? One very fun practice I used to do a couple years back is I would just take my phone, I would go to very popular stock photo sites and look for a photo that I really connected with, and I would try to my best ability to kind of replicate that with my phone. And the results that I would get would be shocking, even to me. I mean, it wasn't like, top-notch photographer quality, but it was really beautiful, and it just, goes to show that a lot of times when you set your mind to something, you can actually do it. So begin to look for other ways to creatively express yourself. If you're a photographer, try painting. If you are an artist, try, pencil, what's the letter writing. There's this really fancy calligraphy thing that people do. Just look for something out of the ordinary, something that you wouldn't regularly do, that is also a form, or, a form of self-expression, a form of creative expression, and see how that works for you. The fourth way that you can creatively express yourself or express yourself better as a creator creative is to ask other people to describe your art. Now, the funny thing and the interesting thing about this one is that they may not always be right. But what happens is that when you ask someone else to describe your art and you feel like they are not getting it right, you will begin to think of, you know, if someone says, oh, you are trying to do this, and you're going to be like, no, like, does that sound right? Like, no, that's not what I was saying. And then it begins to clear things up a little bit more. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just need someone to help me, like, set up a level ground. Like, I just need someone to kind of build up on the idea, and then it's much easier for me to then finish it, right? So sometimes it helps to just show someone else your creative work and say, what do you think about this? What comes to mind? What do you think I'm trying to say here? What do you think I'm trying to do here? And then when they, you know, try to express it a little bit, it gives you more ideas on whether or not they are close to what you were trying to express, or if they are far away, and it's much easier for you to be like, I mean, who doesn't like to tell people that they are wrong? It's strange, but we all love to do it, right? The final way that you can express yourself better as a creative is to find common patterns and question why. Now, when it comes to your creative expression, you are definitely going to find patterns within yourself, because every single person has a unique way of doing something, and you're going to start finding patterns of, oh, every time I want to, like, if you're a photographer per se, every time I want to shoot a photo, every time I want to take a photo, I always do this, I always do this. Or when I take a photo in editing, I'm always looking for this, I'm always trying to do this. We all have patterns because we're humans and we have our own different creative and unique styles. So what you want to be able to do is to begin to find patterns. Why am I always trying to, you know, I'll give you a very clear example. When I kind of dabbled, I say dabbled because I never finished it, but when I kind of dabbled into photography, I was a very big fan of what is called like space. I love, I think it's called white space, or just like empty spaces. I just love a lot of space. So I love the concept of just being really like a really small object, and then you just have like all that space around you. I know that there's a phrase or something they call it in photography, but you see, I can't even remember. I was a terrible student, my God. Anyways, but yes, you want to be able to begin to find patterns. For me, it was just having a lot of space. And I think even in my designs, when I try to do any kind of graphic design, that concept still applies. I am very much a minimalist, which means that I like to keep things as simple as possible. I don't like a lot of excess stuff. So even in designs, I like a lot of space. If you have a graphic that has like a font, or that has a text, or has a sentence, I don't want it to be too many things on the very same graphic. I don't want there to be too many designs. It just feels very, you know, some people are fans of, you know, the other way around. Some people like a lot of stuff, and that's okay because that's their creative expression. But personally for me, because I tune very much into the concept of minimalism, this then kind of flows into other creative art forms like photography or graphic design or whatever it is that I'm doing. I like a lot of space. I like for elements to breathe, if you understand what I mean. But anyways, that's for me. So you want to also be able to find different patterns in your artwork so that it's easy for you to understand the kind of creative that you are. I think this is also so important, because when you begin to understand different ways that you express yourself, you also find other ways to express yourself even in a better light, right? So if you find out that, oh, I've been doing this way, maybe I can try doing it this other way and see what that looks like for me, or see if I'll be able to connect with that, right? At the end of the day, what you want to be able to do is to understand that you are creative. There's always going to be different ways that you can express yourself better, and you want to be open to trying those new ways. But first of all, you have to understand what you're already doing right now before you can understand what exactly you can try in the future. I hope this helps. So let me know in the comments what other ways that you creatively try to express yourself. Let me know if there are other strategies that you've tried to better express yourself from a creative standpoint, and let me know if you found this helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.